Some YouTube is NatsMan72 coming at you from the Hedge South with my man. This is a brother from another mother.
That's right.
That's all this is. Big Scott, what's up, my brother?
What's going on? What's happening, Nats, man?
Hey, thanks.
We missed you this weekend. We missed you.
Man, I miss being there, man. I enjoyed all the content you put out has been great. I love the two-parter too. And it's y'all, I told Scott right before we got on, you were going to talk a couple of minutes, and I'm going to share this real quick. And I'm going to embarrass him, but he is in the zone with these videos since he's been back. He is in a comfort element. It is, you shared what's been going on the last month or so, and you can tell you're doing a lot better, and it's great to see it.
Thank you. I feel better. This hobby has been a great help. I can tell you that.
Well, let's jump in this thing. We want to talk about. Let's go ahead and get the cat out of the bag with the National.
Yep.
And for those that haven't gone to his channel, go to his channel. He goes really in depth on stuff, and we're just going to let this thing roll. Go ahead and start sharing about the National, about this year. What was great about it? What's the big thing this year that you took from it?
Well, what was great was the same reason, and it was a little, you wanted to smack people around a little bit, was just so many people there. If you've never been there, I was in a Walmart today, a super Walmart, buying groceries, and ran into a friend and trying to tell him the scope of it. And I was like, this Walmart could have fit inside the convention center, right? Mm-hmm. I think we were walking like 5-6 miles a day inside the convention center and surrounding areas. And, it was amazing. And just the diversity of people this time around, it's not a bunch of old fat white guys anymore. It is the plus, and I kind of touched on it in one of my videos, was the other half of our population now, they have decided it is okay to be seen collecting cards. It is the female population. I saw more females there not being tag-alongs with their significant others. They were there, backpacks, shopping. If they had kids, it was father and sons, but it was also mother, daughters, mother and sons, father and daughters. And it wasn't just Pokemon or anything. You hate the stereotypes. They, much respect, and these dealers better get with it because they got money too. And a lot of these dealers like to go to they'll shun them a little bit at the tables. I saw that a little bit, and oh, that's a female. They're probably just with somebody else type of deal. Because the National is still a very old school, type of show for the most part. You have a lot of guys that have been setting up for 30 plus years, had the same tables, but they had to open up another section this year. So they're injecting some new life into it. And it was fun for those aspects of it. And the show never stopped. It was 24 hours a day. It was. So
the hobby's not dead.
No, not by any means. And, I've been watching, and you text me while I was there, and it was a great text message you gave me, and I shared it with other people around me. We all had a good chuckle. Just because pricing goes down, let's think about it for a second. We thought when the pandemic started, it was going to be a collapse. Well, the opposite happened. And why? Because it was people at home bored, people finding things to do. So what's happening now? There's stuff to do. Disney World, Disneyland is setting records for attendance. The parks in this country you can't get into because there's so many people. So all these theme
parks are opening up.
Right. So it's and going to the games. What would you rather do? Buy a card or go and go to a park? What's up, Beans Ball Card Blog?
The Beans. Check Beans out.
Yeah,
Good people.
and he so I just think we have to, when it comes to the pricing, just chill out for a second. That those outrageous numbers that everybody was complaining about are coming back down to a normal, but that ain't stopping people. People gotten smarter too in the hobby. All these newer people got educated a little bit. So, and
I agree with that pricing, because you're at home and you're on eBay and that's what's bothering me a little bit is everything is referred to eBay comps, and it's because it's reported, but people are, and they're like, well, eBay sales are down, eBay store listings are down. Well, that's a big factor. Things are going on in the world where we're able to get back out.
Mm-hmm.
Then eBay is feeing people to death, and they're stopping stuff, and they're doing consignment with people, or they're selling on other platforms. There's Instagram and Facebook and all these other 20 million places you can sell cards at and slabs at now that don't report, and you don't know what the comp is.
Right. And there's a lot. I mean, these new, places with just 1% fees and stuff like that. So I think, eBay is always going to be the king, but there's other places to go as well. And, and at the show, people were looking up the comps, but that wasn't that was the starting, point. I can tell you right now, I did not, I wish I don't have my cards near me, so I want to show those off as much as possible, but I don't have them near me tonight. But
especially that one you texted me and you shared it on your video.
Right. And there were deals there to be had, and you just had to take the time. What my fear was, but when I got there Thursday, I've never seen that many people there on any day of the week. That was more than any Saturday was, and it was a Thursday. So if you found a deal, I felt like you kind of had to hop on it. And Roberto Clemente rookie cards you would have thought this year was his rookie. That card was so hot at that show for whatever reason, and I hate to steal on from those back pages. I thought I was zagging when everybody was zigging just a little bit. Vintage is always going to be a hot seller at this show, but man, it was, you couldn't find it everywhere. And if it was in a high grade, above a 5. So when you get above a 5, you're talking about real money there. And so it was a different world this time around. And it was, I think, a lot of the older guys like me that have been doing this for a while, most of my life somehow. I'm not going to put that amount of money into a modern player that's still playing unless it's one of my, like, if it's a Mike Trout, yeah, maybe, but not, because Trout's a Hall of Famer tomorrow if he never plays another game. Pujols, Miggy, those guys are, first ballot Hall of Famers. But Clemente, we know what he is. Me and my dad were talking. I told him how much I paid for it. He had a little sticker shock, but I told him, I ain't worried about him blowing his hamstring out.
Yeah.
That card, if I next week get fired and I need to pay my bills, I could sell that card for probably more already because I had such a good deal on it than what I paid for it. So I'm not really worried about that.
I know we've had the conversation before, and me and JD were just talking about it the other day. JD Sports Cards, y'all check his channel out. Good content, good people. And it's baseball is its own beast within the hobby. You have got, if you're going to get a young player that's hot right now, you had to invest in them in 2016, 17, 18 at the latest. And they were nothing. So you're gambling whether or not you're getting it. And so you have to watch baseball. You have to keep up with the sport to understand, okay, well, this this card I got, and he ain't gonna be nothing. I can stack him away somewhere. All right, well, here's Soto, here's Tatis, here's Acuna, here's Albies. You know, all these guys that set in that rookie class, and it's like you've missed the train, and you know you've missed the train. You missed the train a couple of stops back,
Right.
You didn't watch. You weren't watching baseball, in my opinion.
Right. And the thing with like Ohtani, right? So last year or last couple of years with him being hurt, if you were smart and you knew the game, you kind of, and if you're an investor type, and even me, I picked up some Otanis and I put all of mine away that I had graded intents, all my rookies. You know what? They got sent out on consignment today. Yeah. So, right. So that, I hate to say it, but you know, we were joking about this lingo, but that was a smart play. You know, I learned a lot from people half my age this week when it comes to that part of the business side. You know, and that has become part of it. You're dragging some of us guys with you into it that really don't like that side of it, but that's the reality that we're in right now. And you know what? Some of that is the reason why I got the Clemente rookie, the Satchel, the Gretzky rookie, and plus saving my nickels and dimes over the year. And, you know, knowing that I already got 2 cards targeted for next year. Wait, I like to have I think we're going to stick with the 3, and I have 2 right now. And, you know, I'll come up with a 3rd one, believe me, before then, and they're going to be vintage. I'm not a vintage guy, but I love baseball and I love history of the sport. So I held a card from 1888, an 1888 card. That blew me away. It was only $100. Mike O bought it. I just want to hold it because it was from 1888.
88, yeah. Were there any cool exhibits like showing stuff like that?
Oh my gosh, this guy that had this. The problem at a lot of these, when you see this older stuff, they're older guys, and they just kind of throw their stuff out there. This guy looked like a mini museum. It was right. It was set up beautifully. You could see everything. He liked to talk about it, which was awesome. We probably stood there for a good 10, 15 minutes just talking about cards. You know, and you know, he just didn't have rows and rows of tobacco cards stacked up. You know, it was set up very nicely. And those are not bad either. I mean, I saw more tobacco cards probably graded. And that's one of the big changes this time around was so much graded vintage.
You're the second person I've heard say that. Slab Stock video today, those guys made that comment. They said graded vintage is not dead.
No.
They said that is the most they have ever seen in one location was at the National this year, I believe is the way they put it.
Right. And I can tell you, like, there was some old time, like Saturday night, I met up with some OG 2000s YouTubers, right? Guys that don't record anymore or do anything. And that was great listening to their stories, but I guess they were calling it Wild West of YouTube at that time.
AOL.com.
Yeah. You know, and so they it was also listening, but they are griping a little bit about the vintage. But for me, with a guy that doesn't do that, it's just almost like a crutch. You know, you can look up. I can look up the numbers on the top of the card and go, okay, I got a reference point of what a price and the grade of the card is. Because I was talking to the guy that owns my LCS today, and he was asking me about it. And the problem with raw cards is like you'll go up and they're priced as if they're a 5 or a 6. And you have no idea what that grade of. I can't grade raw cards, raw vintage. That's out of my realm, my depths. So I'd rather see graded ones so, you know, I know what I'm getting at that time. So
I just, you know, at some point, the it's going to die out. It's going to disappear. And it's good that people are putting it out for people to take advantage and have it in their collections. Because I know that was there was the one particular card I wanted. I wanted Roger Maris's rookie card. That was my dad's favorite ball player. And that just meant a lot. I said, I've got to get that. I've got to get it. And I want it graded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want it graded, you know, for when it is protection, when, you know, whenever, and at a good price, and something I can pass on to his grandchildren, my nephews.
Right.
You know, pass that on. Hey, this was your papa's favorite baseball player.
Right.
You know, think in his name was Roger. So,
oh,
you know, so it was like, you know, hey, you know, with that being said, that's a card that I got that meant sentimental. And me and Snoop were talking yesterday, and, you know, he's wanting to go to, he goes to the National, and he wants to be able to, when he purchases a card or an item, it's the memory.
Mm-hmm.
He can say it and relay it, you know, like, I get it. I was with Scott, I was with JD, or, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Andy, Eric, you know, that I was there with them when I got this, and this means a lot for me that year. Was there a card or an experience this year that you had like that?
Well, buying that Clemente, I was shaking, goosebumps, and I had the infamous Ron Fig was with me when I bought it.
I wish Ron was on here. He's usually jumped on here.
Yeah, we talked for a good probably hour on the floor, and then we looked around. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go pull the trigger on this card. So he went with me, and man, that getting that, I'll never forget the feeling, the smile on the dealer's face. You know, he made the statement. He was happy I got it. Another gentleman, because when you start pulling out cash, it starts pulling eyeballs, right? So, you know, and and I was paying cash for cards, and because cash is king. So that was special. But I can tell you, I was with Mike O, and he got his Clemente rookie card, and watching that transaction and being part of that was probably my most memorable moment at the show itself. That and going to lunch with those guys at was it Giordano's, and somebody coming up to us because we had our backpacks on and asking us what we were selling. I thought I was going to see Westergriff do a sell in the middle of a restaurant, and that was the kind of the whole show in itself, that the show didn't stop at the door of that place, and it didn't stop.
I so want to meet him. I
Who,
so want to
Westergriff?
meet him. Yeah, he seems like he's just full of life. I mean,
He is. I tell you, Saturday, me, him, Ed, Mike O, and Dave's Midlight Card Crisis hung out pretty much all day. And those guys, they're good friends, and being with them was great. I mean, that night we broke a box of 92 Fleer and 88 Tops right there in the lobby with a bunch of young people, and just getting a crack out of. But Dave's looking up the prices of the 92 Fleer, like the Bo Jackson and Jim Tomei and 10 sell for like $80. So we were like pulling those out. Like Mike said, I got some sleeves upstairs. Like, no, I got sleeves. Because I made a newbie mistake. Geez, you wouldn't think this was my fifth one, but I left my perfect sleeves here. And, I'm sitting there, and Mike, baseball collector, hooked me up with some PSA. He's like, don't tell anybody I'm doing this because I got to keep my dickish attitude or whatever.
yeah.
And he was a great, I've met him before. We talked, and, now I couldn't call him Mike, and I feel comfortable doing it. And that's kind of the way this show was for me, was like, it was being noticed and being known for my content. And, that was fun and humbling.
I was going to ask you about that. In your video, in one of your two-parter, you mentioned that you actually had folks that follow your channel, so How did that feel? How did that make you feel?
That was amazing. Hey, Reese, that Reese ND, one of my man, that dude. I can't wait to meet him face to face. So yeah, so that running into people was the first time somebody yelled my name, and I turned around.
Did
Caught
they
me,
yell Big Scott?
Big Sky, and the gentleman is from here in Iowa, and we talked. I don't know, it was a good while, and I could have talked. You know how I am. We could talk sport cards, and then we could talk about life too, and all that. I love to run my mouth, and I told him, and I'll tell anybody. I'm Big Scott 35 on the socials. That's the best. Instagram and Twitter is the best way to. I've learned to navigate those better, so that's the best way to contact me, and we could talk. And actually, one of my buddies that I graduated from high school with, through this experience, we reconnected just right before I got on here, and he's been collecting and was telling me some stories today before I got on, and this whole experience this weekend, and it's just steamrolling. You said you've seen it, and I can't put into words really kind of how this kind of affected me and giving me a new confidence. And I know I got the gift of gab, and and I was in sales for a long time, and so, and I love this hobby. I do it. This hobby's done so much for me in my whole life. Some of my trials and tribulations, just getting through things. When I played baseball, the diamond was my secret space. If you want to, these people got to have a room and a dog. I had to have first base. That's what I needed. Yes. Oh, 23 in Chicago Beans. Awesome. What's up, Wahoos? There you go. UVA. Hey, sorry, Wahoos, but you're on a UNC guys channel right now.
Heels. Car.
But he's okay. I promise he's okay. So it's this one got me in the feels. I get a little teary-eyed when I think about it. I've gotten a little bit more emotional here in the last year or two. I don't know why. But I guess a real man can show his emotions, right?
Absolutely. That's what my daddy was, an Iron Man, and he said if a man cannot show emotion to his friends, his family, and his God, there's something wrong.
That's right. And that's just how I feel. And what this to me personally, this one was more special to me because I kind of stabilized some friendships in this one, and looking forward to making even more friendships, and really I have a better understanding about me and you over this past year, gotten talking, and I can't wait for us to hang out sometime, but it will come. I'll be we'll get to it. And this year the show just never ended. I mean, I don't know if you have a chance to see those back pages or Baseball Collector the night of our get together.
Yeah.
That night in Lowe's, that was Friday night.
Y'all kept messing with me. Is that the name of the hotel?
That is the name of the hotel. It's a chain. It's a high-end
LOEW. Either a home improvement store or y'all at the high-end grocery store line. I don't know where y'all. I don't know no other Lowe's.
Yeah, that it's a nice. I don't know where Eric was staying. At where he was staying at. That was the time.
Two-story.
Yeah, I don't know.
Eric lives in Long Island. He must live in a mansion or something. Eric, I'm jealous, bro.
I was like, wow. I didn't see that video. I didn't watch any videos while I was there. I did not have time.
You didn't have time, yeah.
Yeah, and you text me. It was like, I haven't seen much of the floor. I can tell you this. It was hard to get video of the floor. And the guys that were walking around with entourages doing videos, you kind of wanted to
I was going to ask, how bad was that this year? We heard how bad it was at the Dallas. It was an inconvenience at the Dallas,
Right.
For some of the major content guys that are the circle that we associate within the YouTube community.
Right.
They put it's out there. How was it? Was it worse with content providers doing it?
I thought it was going to be terrible, but it wasn't. Friday, there was a couple of guys that just seemed to be everywhere I was at. It just seemed that way. A big building, and I can't fault them for doing it. As much as I want to do it, this year probably wasn't. You should have done it. You should have got in at 30 minutes, and you probably should have pushed for press credentials, maybe. I don't know how hard that is to get, but Bench Clear, I'm waiting for some of their videos. I know Mike shot some interviews one day, and it was just Victor did too. But it's a right way and a wrong way. Going down some of those tight spaces in the middle was packed, where all the Tops and Panini and the all the wax sellers. It was crazy through pandemonium, as Ed was Western Grove. That's the way it was, and there was a red carpet area that they opened for 2019. Right, they never did it before.
A new spot,
right, for a lot of the newer people, and I got kind of classified in 2019. That's where all the new stuff was. That's where all the young guys selling basketball. But that's where I found a guy selling hockey, and I bought quite a few Young Guns, Washington Capitals cards from that guy. What's that?
Just one thing real quick. I know you brought up,
yeah.
Was it, I butchered everything. Bench Clear Media, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched their stuff. I know I put a comment on one of their videos, because prior to the national, they're saying the hobby's going to tank.
Right. That was a text message I was referring to when you texted.
Yeah, it was going to tank. And I put a post, and as the opinion changed, are you going to do a video? And they have, and I've got nothing but 100% respect for them, because they are transparent on their video when they're explaining it. They did a better job. I just want people to know that, because I my name's out there. I put it out there. I wasn't rude or anything,
Right.
I'm like, hey, are you going to back up and punt, or are you sticking with it? What's going on? And so they did a video, and they explained, they did a lot more better explanation of what they meant by the hobby not, collapsing. It's more on the economic side for ultra modern cards, like exactly what we talked about, that I think we agree with, not selling.
The emphasis on the dollar amount, is
pushed away.
It drives me a little nuts. And you're gonna put it equals to the dollars to the hobby dying, or if it's strong or not. The strength to me is how many people are there, what type of people are there, is there new people there, how are they reacting to it. Yeah, there was people hustling, but they didn't slow up because the prices were down. They were just hustling. And let me tell you, these young guys that were there at night till 3, 4 in the morning, these lobbies, grinding and hustling, they're learning, viable lessons as teenagers that you can't learn in school. They're learning economics and how the stock market works, and they're learning all this stuff, and they're learning it on a streetwise level. They're going to be smarter than the guys that get an education.
It's going to be
it's
Rodney,
a new.
They're going to be like Rodney Dangerfield going back. What was that movie he did back in the early 80s, late 70s, going back to get his degree?
Yeah. I want to remember the dive he did on the diving board. It was like the triple Lundy or something.
Lundy, yeah. He told his professor, like, nah, that's not how you're going to make any money.
Right. You got to pay off the politicians and everything. Yeah. So
yeah, that was the thing, is like, and it was great to see. And I applaud, those that were making the comment the hobby's not dead.
Yeah, and Eric was pushing, those back pages was really pushing that concept. I don't know who, I guess, I don't know if that's what everybody was, or he was referencing to, because that was the only video I really saw, Hi Chili, that, that kind of even referenced maybe a little, and it's, prices going down doesn't equal the hobby dying. I think it's just a combination of the world opening up and people getting smarter.
We've been telling each other and telling everybody, do research, get smart. Right. And people are not, they've been doing it. It looks like people are doing it because they're not paying outrageous prices.
And I think there's a huge combination too. So, we had a couple of good guys in the football draft, but quarterbacks are what sells. And luckily, back to school. Thanks, Reese. So, but the draft classes this year are not very good. Not for the hobby. I'm not going to say these guys are not good. They could beat me in whatever sport they're playing, I can tell you. But it's just that is part of it, I think. And I think that a lot of these people new in the hobby, when it came to baseball, learned awfully fast with the Jason Dominguez debacle that these guys you buy 1 year, don't play in the major leagues the next year. Jason Dominguez is 4 or 5 years away at best, if he makes it. Bobby Witt was the guy that everybody thought he was going to be up this year, and I don't think the Royals are going to bring him up to lose a year this year.
Well, they said on 106.7 in DC, they said that Davey made the statement, Carter Keebum's got 2 months to prove himself, or he's out.
My dad was telling me that. And but when it comes to that, like when I get Bowman cards, I take those and I put them in a box and send them away to the side. A couple of the big names, I sent in my Blaze Jordans this year to get graded because I'm trying to. I might as well try to sell those off while people are paying dumb prices for them, right? So, I mean, that's the kind of baseball is a different animal, and I think people learn the hard way with that. I mean, people are paying Jason Dominguez, and I'm not trying to downplay Dominguez. He might be a great ball player, but A, he might not be a Yankee when he comes up, and B, we don't know if he's going to make it. But man, people were paying 5 digits for numbered autos for him, and he hasn't even.
They was trying to catch that train, but they ended up paying the ticket for the Orient Express.
Right, and I hope it works out for him. I hope he's like the next, whatever you want to make. They're trying to say already he's better than what's going on. He might be the next Trout, and I hope he is for the man's sake. But man, he's got so much pressure. If anybody remembers him by the time he comes up.
Hey, y'all need to check out ERMIS33, ERMIS33's channel on YouTube. Holy smokes. You want to see a Juan Soto collection. Oh my God. He got on the train early and was picking stuff up when it was early. And this is the most impressive Juan Soto collection I've ever seen in my life.
I saw, almost took a picture of a Juan Soto just to send to you. It was a 2018 black. It was beautiful. It was. I love the 2018 variants. They did it right that year.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite set from Modern. Hey, Beans, listen. When me and Scott were talking before we jumped on here tonight, he made the perfect analogy why to buy retired, what you're saying, retired player cards, vintage cards, because Scott, what do you not have to worry about?
Blowing a hamstring. I don't have to worry I'm going for 0 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, not getting the variant D. But you can't say the other part of it. You get slammed on YouTube for some reason.
And I just what I also love too is vintage. We were opening up the 92 Fleer, and Mike O made a statement. Hey, where's all the variants? Where's all the colored variants and numbered cards? We were just making so much fun. We had so much fun doing that. And 92 actually has prospect cards in it. And we were like laughing at some of the people because you never heard of them. And it's like nothing's changed. That was 92. So that was like, that is funny.
My question, about the hobby. I mean, not about the hobby, but the finishing before we start going into some hobby stuff and some sports stuff is one is the difference, the biggest difference. Two-part question: the biggest difference between this year and previous years, other than attendance and maybe the temperature being like set at 110 with everybody inside the facility.
I have something to say about that.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And then the one thing other than your sleeves you wish that you would have took with you to the National this year that you didn't.
Well, first, why I know why this is on my mind, the temperature after Thursday was not bad because the temperature dropped and the humidity left Chicago. It was probably like 95 degrees Thursday outside of Chicago, which is, hot with high humidity with that many people in there. And it was hot in there. But the rest of the week was fine. What do I wish what was that two parts of the question?
Two-part. What was the one difference other than attendance and the heat, as I was joking, that between this year and your previous years of going to nationals? What's the difference that you saw other than like attendance? Something that just kind of like you had, you look back on and like retrospect.
The energy. There's always high energy there. But this year was a little bit different. It just seemed like we were all one group, right? All there. It didn't matter what you were there for. Investing, I hate using that word. Flipping, prospecting, collecting. It didn't matter. Autograph seeking. Somebody made a statement that our hobby has hijacked the word hobby, and now all other hobbies are going to have to figure out another word. Because when you say I'm in the hobby, you know exactly what people are talking about. And that was a great analogy. I use hashtag the hobby for my videos. Now I'm using hashtag AC 2022 with it. And the community. I think community is a big thing for the YouTube groups. But the hobby, you say the hobby and everybody knows what you're talking about. One thing I forgot that I'm trying to think, or I didn't, or wish I would have took. I think I wish I would have took the stacks that I sent off for consignment after I came back. I wish I would have took some for all the trade stuff. Just, I don't have high. Most of my high end stuff I want to keep. That's my hobby stuff. But the small, and it wasn't just guys trading. It was all kinds of stuff out there. These young people and old, it was all kinds. Just to have something. I took stuff last year and I was a little out of my element, or 2019, excuse me. You kind of like, where do I begin type of deal. And, I don't know if I'd ever do that because now I'm just sending stuff out. I find somebody that likes a certain card, then I send it to them, and I'm just sending stuff out. And I think that's more about the hobby too, is just, but that's what I wish, like just to engage. Because I know Card Collectors 2's trade night was fantastic. Right. And I know I haven't seen inside of Blake Jamieson's
I
during
hadn't
his.
seen any videos from the inside.
Right, during it. But I know that was a little bit of an older crowd, and I know people that like JT Triple Crown went to that and some other people. So and they enjoyed it. I actually talked to Blake Saturday night in Doubletree Lobby, I believe, for a few minutes and got pictures together. Me and him were trying to work out a deal for something. So it was that was probably it. And I don't feel like I missed out on anything by any means because I was tired at night. It was just fun just to sit around. I didn't even have an alcoholic beverage. I just drank water and monsters and just talk life.
Hydrate, dehydrate.
Right. And I don't like coffee. So the monster I took a nap every afternoon after the show.
We're older guys. We're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And then, I was my best packing, I tell you what, was Advil. It was the best thing I packed.
What's up, Colorado sports dude? Glad you're on here tonight. I'm gonna throw his question up here in just a second, but one last question, and it's come up this afternoon. Is SGC at the National?
Mm-hmm.
They chose not to grade. Looked like they had a lot of fun events, and they were drawing people to their kiosk, booth area. But as far as slabs going, there's the one vendor that's been reported by a couple of different folks that's been to the National saying, I'm selling, but I'm not buying SGC, which I don't have an issue with that because that's a show you go buy. I mean, if he's advertising I'm buying, that's one thing, but that's a different story. Right. But did you see it's my understanding, some content I've watched, SGC was moving on the floor. PSA is king, the emperor. There's no doubt. BGS, they're going to be your RPAs, high-end stuff still was moving. But SGC, did you see SGC slabs moving at all? Anything?
Well, my two big slabs were SGC. My Satchel Paige and my Clemente were both SGC. Now, did that help in my pricing? Probably, but I don't care. I love SGC, and they're known for vintage. So I don't understand. We talked about that the show, and that was one of the things. It's like we can't understand why they're still. I just think dealers need to stand, and I don't listen to me, dealers, but because I like buying them at a cheaper price. But they need to, maybe hold. I know you want to get rid of the inventory, but I mean, the one SGC satchel was underneath a PSA when it looked horrible in the same grade. And I just go, hey, is that another satchel underneath that one? And he goes, yeah. And it was an SGC, and they were giving 40%.
I'm glad I wasn't there. I would have been peer pressured into getting that one. Right after you got one.
Oh, yeah. And this table had even their PSA stuff had great prices. And, it was some tables that were in the flow of the market, right? So the market is on a little bit of a downward, if not plateauing a little bit. But you had a lot of people that were still thinking it was February.
Yeah. Slab Stock said it great today on their video. I watched at lunch today, and they said if you wanted to sell cards, you could sell cards. And he said it's all about pricing. It's all about pricing. He said, did I have cards that were overpriced? Yes. He said, but I didn't want to sell them.
Right. And that's, you know that. Andy, if you saw his video, Shoot Blinded Me Refractors, me and him talked on the floor. He offered somebody $10,000. Yeah, he's awesome. $10,000 in cash, and the guy said no to a card. And he knows if he would have offered him the cash for $500 over ticket, the guy would have said no. it's one of those cards that somebody puts in their thanks, Reese. They that's one of those cards somebody puts in a case as an eye catcher and doesn't really want to sell it type of deal.
Draw you in.
That's right, to see the other cards. So, you know, those type of things. But one thing I like to say about SGC, you know, I'm a SGC, I'm a grading guy. I grade with SGC, PSA, CSG. I'll pick up a Beckett. I almost picked up a Frank Thomas Transcendent, and the only reason I didn't because it was Sunday, and I already spent a lot of money. So I ended up getting a Mike Piazza Transcendent that was actually signed at the Transcendent party a couple weeks ago. So in a Mets uniform, I love my catchers, but SGC got it right at this show. Don't grade, be there for the customers. PSA, to me, they're lucky how much they are wanted in the grand scheme of things, because if they had to fight for sales and people, they would stink. They were up in the front corner, hidden. You had to get in a line in another room, and it was, to me, was not customer friendly at all. They didn't really have anything going on for the community. SGC was out in the middle of the floor doing breaks. Peter was doing the breaks. Mike O won stuff, and the guy goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And Mike goes, "Mike O." Mike said, "Oh, this is one of our bulk guys." Announced it to the crowd, and everybody's cheering, and and they knew him, and he doesn't do what Bobbles or some of the guy from down there in Florida. He doesn't touch any of those. Yeah. So, I mean,
great cards,
right? And those that SGC, they hit a home run. And I'm sorry, much as we make fun of HGA, me and you do in private and online, they did the same thing. They didn't do as much like rah, but they were out in the middle of the floor. They were out there, with the people.
I picked up, I don't know if I sent you a picture of this or not. I know I did to JD. I picked up on because I had the thoughts of people are going to ride this wave on eBay. Two things are going to happen. They're going to ride the wave of the National. You're going to pick up some hell of a good deals. People are going to start listing stuff. And then there's going to be auctions because all y'all at the National up there partying till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, y'all gonna miss out on these auctions that you would typically be on trying to get. And I picked up, I can't say it too loud, but I picked up an HGA. I picked up a Jordan Alvarez.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that atomic in the HG, and I'm the first one. I've slammed them. I'm not submitting to them, but it looked good. I mean, for that card with that color combination, it worked. And I've seen them where they have worked. I think it's a fad. I don't think it's going to last. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong for them to make it.
I know last week on their submissions, they didn't fill their allotment.
They were
they were busy at the show. They were taking stuff at the show. And I got to give them credit. They were out there with the crowd, and so I got to get CSG wasn't. They were off with where the breakers were by the main stage, but they were at least set up a little bit better than PSA was, where they were a little bit easier to get to. And
they looked like they were in the back, like in a back room of a TJ Maxx discounted.
Who's CSG?
Clothing store for loss prevention.
Well,
PSA.
PSA? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they opened a new section this year. So where the breakers used to be was a wall, an artificial wall. They took the artificial wall down, and now they put the breakers there, and they opened that all up for new. I didn't know. I thought that was breakers the first day. So I didn't know it was there until Friday, right? So I went up there Friday, and actually ran into a couple of dealers that I know in this area, and Yeah, and one of the dealers ended up coming in and buying a spot from another dealer, splitting it. He said he was on the waiting list for number 4 on the waiting list and couldn't get in, and he opened up all this space. So
Huh.
I don't know what they're going to do next time. I have people in the street, I guess.
I was trying to find and I couldn't find it for tonight, but I wanted to show it because StreamYard, you're able to share your screen and the
Yeah.
clips. But there's a guy, he's a YouTube guy, and he did breaks, but now he's putting out some cool content. It's Mojo something. And I've watched him the last week or two. He popped up as a recommended video, and I like his stuff. And he's like, was giving out free packs to kids and stuff, which was really awesome. And I like they were like some good cards,
right,
in these packs he did for these kids. But the funniest thing I saw was, and he gets the Oscar. He is talking to Peter at SGC. And Peter tells him, hey, I followed you when you were doing TTM and how you brought TTM where like it's cool to do it now.
Right.
For our age group. And because he appears to be about the same age as him. And he's looked at him, Mojo looked at him and said, and was serious, was like, do you work for SGC? And if you would have seen the just all the blood rush out of his face, he looked at him and went, yeah, I'm the president of SGC.
Right.
And then Mojo's blood, all his blood washed out of his face. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Well, when Peter was there doing that, I never saw Nat Turner out there doing breaks. So
now it's my understanding he went to some invite only. I think Filmington said that he was there for Card Ladder. And I was watching something. I caught the tail end of Ziggy's, one of Ziggy's, who's got a true coffee talk. I sit and drink coffee. Me and my wife at 8:30 every morning. It's like we watch Ziggy. He does a live session and just like recaps stuff from the night. And but I caught the tail end of that there was some sort of invite. And Filmington went to it and didn't say much about it, but Nate was there. He didn't go talk to him or anything. So he was around. But yeah, like you said, I didn't see any videos of him interacting with his customers.
I got to give him. I was tough on Peter and them, when they did the send us your cards.
He deserved it.
Yeah, and then this last one where they raised it and dropped it and accidentally backed themselves into the best gimmick ever we're going to raise it up to 70. No, now it's 30. Now it's 25 for group. That was the best promotional thing they ever did because they made it sound like it was such a great deal at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But, how do you handle something that's never been done before in these situations, right? These guys can't. The overload, the grading, and everybody thinks their cards are deserving, and they're right. If you want to get it graded, it's deserving of being graded. That's just
your money.
That's right.
I'm going to throw this up here. Colorado Sports dude put this up here, and I promised I was going to throw this up here, and let's get our 2 cents in on this. Has Acuna been dropping yet, or do you think he will much? You go first.
I think you will. And I think I think this is Albie's time to shine. And I think he's been stepping up to that just in the Mets series alone. So if they continue to win and make a run without him, I think the Cards will, and they will in the offseason as well. And but he's just one of those guys that is just fantastic, fan favorite, and those type of injuries, everybody knows he's going to come back and be just as good. And that's not a slam dunk, but I think as the season goes on, people will start forgetting more and more about him and going on to the other players. And that's what drops the prices of that guy is I want to buy Albies now that's playing well. I'm not going to spend that money on Acuna. So now that's going to drop the Acuna cards down. and that's how it kind of. And if Freddie Freeman becomes Freddie Freeman again, and his stuff starts going up, that I think, and the National League East is bad, so the Braves have a chance to do something. So.
Yeah, and that's and I agree 110% with what you're saying, in that the prime example is somebody that I PC to that had happened to. Juan Soto. He got a slump, he got sick. His prices dropped considerably. Then the then the whole adjustment to the hobby happened. And then look at Lou Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, Lou Bob was flying, and then he plateaued off because he wasn't struggling. He was playing great defensive ball with some offensive ball that he was going in just a little bit of a slump on. And then he got hurt. And now he's firing it about. He's down the road in Charlotte playing AAA, lightning on fire. Eloy Jimenez, same thing. And
now, what these guys see, Acuna is just a couple of years older than those guys, right? So especially with Lou Bob comes in where we're at the height of this craziness, right? And he's part of the mania. I mean, they had on the Bowman cars, there was a hit out on getting his low number stuff. You watch breaks and it's like, are we going to get the Lou Bob? So, well, then it was Luis Roberts, Robert, or whatever they were calling him. So, right. So you had a lot of room for that card to drop in my eyes, where maybe Acuna, that card doesn't have as much room to drop as Luis Robert did. So that's the little difference I feel with that one. And the correction, I'm going to call it market correction, not a dip or a drop or whatever. And that's you can use whatever term you want to use. Because I bought wax for the first time in a year and a half this weekend because I could buy it. I got the UK edition. Did you see that?
I did. I'm impressed. I love that. I've got got it all. I've got the complete set.
Well, I saw you open it and I was like, I bought some of the singles, but at the price, I couldn't turn it down. Yes, their ages, Hermes, it's those guys. Acuna is, and this might get Acuna's mind different too, where he is ready to play ball when he comes back. He loves to have fun, and I hope that doesn't go away, but maybe not running out some balls or some of that stuff will be gone because he knows how quickly this can be taken away from him.
Yeah, trigger shot. There's going to be some trigger shots.
And he might come back just blazing whenever, and these guys come back quicker and quicker. And when they're younger, they're going to come back even. These guys are football shape, not baseball shape. So,
and a lot of these injuries they're having 10 years ago could have been career ending.
Oh, definitely.
As far as medicine has come and treatments come.
Well, I remember, I'm going to show my age here. Kellen Winslow catches a touchdown pass for the Chargers, dunks the football over the goalpost and blows his knees out. Hey, see you later. I'll run things. And he is the, his career's ended. But if that happens now, that career is not ending. Kellen Winslow is one of the greatest tight ends ever in my eyes. So, that's to me is the difference. These guys now with the medicine and all that, he'll come back bionic. And, same way with Tatis and the shoulder. I hope they get that right in the off season. He's going to probably have to put the bolt in there with the labrum and get that all bolted up with the fish netting and you probably can't go through a metal detector, but they'll get him right. And they're saying this has been going on since he was in high school. So he's got to get that fixed. He can't play like that. So
yeah, though I'll photocopy him a card till he can get one so he can skip the screening device and go straight to pat down.
Right.
Hey, with the with the trades, all the trades that happened, how did that
being in Chicago too?
being in Chicago. So I mean,
Well,
once
here's my story on that. So Friday, I went to lunch at the Bill Murray Caddy Shack, whatever restaurant it's called. It's actually attached to my hotel I was in. Thursday night you couldn't get in there. It's not over, of course it's overpriced, but it's not terrible and the food's pretty good. So I went in there to eat, watching all the trades. And while I was in there, the Chris Bryant trade got announced, and I thought the TVs were coming down. Yeah, I was like, oh, I forgot I was in Chicago for a minute and listened to that. Yes, but Chris Bryant's been on the trading block since before preseason. I was sitting there going, how
he
did
was
y'all
supposed
not
to come,
know? Right. Like,
according to rumor, the first part of the season he was coming to DC.
right. He was rumored to go to the Mets. It was rumored to go everywhere, but they couldn't find a dance partner. Well, they found one in San Francisco. And then my dad said he was crying in the dugout. And I was like, I thought he wanted to be out. He sued the league for holding him back a year. I was like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. And then and I heard a rumor that they might want to sign Rizzo back afterwards. But I heard the same thing with Scherzer. But now that the Washington's talking about getting rid of everybody, why would he want to come back there?
Well, it's official that the moves that they made, I felt a lot better with the Nationals when Davey did a press conference, and so did the GM Rizzo. And it's on the Masson channel if anybody wants to watch it. And they did a pretty good explanation of why they did what they did. They said Max earned the right to decide where he wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to go out west. Evidently, I was really upset with Trey Turner, the way that worked out, but to hear more, because there's always, you don't know what goes on behind a closed door in somebody's home, unless you live there. So evidently there was negotiation with Trey. They wanted to keep him, but they couldn't get right on money.
Well, I heard he wanted out. Like I never.
Yeah, I hadn't.
I was like, where did that come from? You win a World Series and you want out?
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. That they couldn't come together on money,
right?
Because they live in, I think they live in Virginia Beach, is where they live. Him and his wife. That's where they. He's East Coast. He's an East Coast boy. But there's a potential of bringing both of those back next year. I just don't see how Trey's going to play in LA unless they put him in the outfield.
Because he said he wants to play shortstop. So
you got Mookie and you got Corey Seaver, and then you got Gavin Lux. Good luck on getting play time.
My God, you got one because like on MLB when it came out that the Nationals were saying they were going to get rid of everybody except for Soto.
I was scared for Robles.
Yeah, Phillips in the morning. First thing he said was that automatically made Turner the number one shortstop, right, over top of Story and Baez. Which I've talked to you about that before. I was like, he's the most underlooked shortstop in the league. He's fast, power, hits the off fields. It plays a top-notch shortstop.
Yep.
He's just quiet about it, so he doesn't get the pub, man. So that is. I haven't not looked there, Colorado Sports Dude. Where are they playing those guys at? Is Gallo in the outfield? How are all Rizzo and all of them playing in the same field? Or it's two guys at first base? I don't understand what they're doing.
Is it softball? Softball?
I was like, my dad was like, they're talking about putting Gallo in center field, and I was like, what? You can hit a pop fly and get a base hit. I like to see, is Schwarber started playing first yet? Like, these guys, they're just sticking players anywhere right now. It's kind of like softball. We're going to just get the best 9 hitters, and we'll just stick them. We'll just put them out there. And hopefully it doesn't cost us more runs than we get. So
we'll see what happens. I'm just one is up with Alonso.
Pete Alonso?
What's going on? What's his deal? He's been so quiet. He's 2-time home run derby
Well, he's been
hitter.
tearing up since the All-Star break. This past weekend, I kind of was a little detached from it a little bit, but I know that first week after the All-Star break, he was killing.
And it's like he's still, for the hobby, he was one of the cards you wanted. And it's like you can still pick him up really, really cheap.
I don't know if it's really well. I'm looking for his rookies, and I'm down to the low numbered cards now for his rookie run.
Just general base slab card,
right? So like you could pick up his autos for 100 or less, 75, 120 range, which to me for an auto, and there's so many of players now, I think that's reasonable. But he's not an all-star. He didn't make the all-star team. He just won the home run derby. I mean,
and didn't get on the all-star team. I mean, I know it's votes, but
right. And
how is he not more popular? I don't understand.
Oh, I think he's very with the young people because he listens to hip hop, and he's got a dad bod, and just I think he's pop. It's just some guys do not translate well into the hot. I mean, look at Nolan Arenado. I mean, Goldschmidt. Some of these guys just do not translate to the.
Because the only Nolan card's worth having is his rookie card if it's in the emerald green, target red, or blue, something like that.
Right. Yeah, and
even his autos aren't.
Right. I have one here, and I like it, but Ken's Cardboard out in Colorado, me and him talked at the show, and I was like, if you're interested, we'll do something with it. And I just these guys sometimes, huh?
You said Arenado.
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever told you this,
but they, he's one of Luigi's brothers. Yeah, that is nice though. That's kind of, they just don't translate well. It's just, Anthony Rendon is another one. It's just, people realize, they're good at their thing. They just don't translate well into the hobby.
Well, he was doing good till he went to the Angels.
Yeah, but he's been hurt a lot this year. He's still recognized as one of the better third basemen.
I really thought he was going to the Astros.
What's that?
I said, I really thought he was going to go to the Astros or the Rangers. I didn't see him going to Cali.
I didn't see him watching and mess that up, but I think they kept the wrong person, let the wrong guy, signed the wrong guy. So me and my dad, I was like, they're going to, Strasburg won the MVP of the World Series, so they're going to play the emotional game. And the track records, it's like, I'd rather pay the guy that's going to play 150 games and not the guy that's going to pitch 30. And that's if he's healthy. When was he ever healthy for a whole season?
He makes more money. He makes more money not playing than he does playing.
Right. So, yeah.
I don't see how he got MVP. I'm a Nationals fan. I don't see how he did it.
Well, if Soto would have won it, then Rendon would have been in Washington, and Strasburg would be somewhere else, probably in the Yankees or something. But
hey, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
On the hobby.
Yep.
With and I'm not seeing a lot of people putting any content out and talking about it. And if y'all out there listening got anything, throw it up here on the screen. We'll put the comment up and talk about it too. But is the next year the federal tax for all electronic online sales, no matter the platform? If you make one sale of $600 or a combination of sales, once you hit $600 as your benchmark for the year, you get a 1099 period for federal. Guys like me, and I would assume guys like you, that when we flip, we make more than $600 when we through the course of the year. Mm-hmm. I know something I've done to offset that and take that monkey off my back is consignment. Mm-hmm. Do you think consignment is going to be bigger than it is? I know it's growing, but there's not that many out there that you can trust unless you personally know them or something, I think.
Right.
But once your take on with that tax coming out, what that's going to do to the hobby for for the little guys, that just flip to buy PC. Do you think consignment's the way? You think they're just going to stop? Do you think
No,
it's old school?
I am not a fan. I'm not a finance guy. I'm not a tax guy.
Mhm.
But with that being said, I think they're doing that to save their butts. It's kind of like the casinos. You make an X amount, they're gonna send out a tax form or whatever. You have to see your tax guy and find out what exactly you're going to have if you got to hit another number to actually pay that, I think. But,
Yeah, by the time you do, you try to itemize, that's a lot of money to itemize.
right. And I even talked to somebody about creating an LLC just to have it, just in case I go into a different direction, right? Because right now we're using the same consignment person, and we talked about you as well, and
hopefully it wasn't
I
bad.
think the smart move is if you're a smaller guy that's selling, and when I say smaller guy, I mean you're not doing a $6,000 card, you're doing a couple of $100 cards, and just doing the smaller stuff that could add up. Consignment might be the best way to get around that. And I'm really probably not the best guy to talk about it. I went consignment for that reason, and also just not to deal with it on a daily basis. A person I use loves it. He is enthralled in it, loves to make the deal. So we're kind of lucky into that. And so with that being said, I think consignment is the best way to go, but you just got to feel comfortable and feel like you're happy with that person. So, but whenever you come back, I do got an interesting story I meant to tell you about stuff. So we talking about baseball. I see Colorado didn't answer me, but the I'm hearing noises. Hold on 1 second, people. So he crashed. So I'm gonna take it. So we'll get back to the national just a little bit. This year at the show was still a lot of vintage, a lot of graded vintage. Usually in the Midwest, you'll get a lot of football. And football was kind of slow this time. Hello, Amari. How you doing? To me, I'm a baseball guy, so it might be just because I was looking for baseball. Of course, modern basketball was big, but baseball to me seemed to taking back over a little bit at the show. I don't know if anybody else has seen that in the other shows, but the National seems to be a vintage heavy show to begin with, and a lot of the old timers said this year that it wasn't as much vintage. I don't know if anybody else is feeling the same way or what, but uh, that was something different this year. And in years past, like I said, even when I went to Cleveland, it was a lot of football. And there he is. I was trying to stretch out.
Sorry, my computer crashed on me.
No, that's fine now. I was just talking about what was there and a little bit, a couple more differences in the show this year, just because I knew that was one of the topics. But on the consignment deal, I just think, maybe for us smaller guys, that's probably the best way that doesn't know and don't want to take the time to itemize.
I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, I don't want to mess with it. I got enough.
Because,
eBay alone enough was killing me.
I got a couple of friends that have LLCs for real businesses, and they were telling me, that's if you do that, then, and if I go to a car show, take my mileage down, if I fill up my gas tank, anything I purchase, I can write off. So
I've got one. Well, I had one, and it was to try to get wholesale pricing because you got to have one to get wholesale pricing. And I was just like, I don't want nothing to do with it. And all that's done is every quarter I get a damn, even though I've not used it, and I tell them I've applied to disregard it. It does the whole send us what you made every quarter, and I just like I don't even respond anymore.
Right? Yeah, because man, that wholesale thing too. You got to have a storefront, and it's tough.
It was pretty cool. My father-in-law owns a trophy shop.
Oh, we talked about that. Yeah,
and he was wanting to get in it because I'd made some good sales and stuff, and he was wanting to get in it. And I said I don't know. I said I think it would be more of let's have a showcase. You open up a showcase, put some cards down here, and you take a percentage off of it. I said, like really going in deep. I'm worried about brick and mortar. I think, there's been a resurgence of brick and mortar. A lot of people want to do it. I think those are going to be fewer and fewer as the years go on. Just like your neighborhood. I mean, it's no different than the neighborhood hardware store. You don't have those anymore,
right?
Unless you're like probably out in areas like you are. Yeah, out further out. Yeah,
Well, I know this, and I've noticed this I haven't done a break in probably a year, right, with breakers, but I know the eBay breakers are dying off, and I don't know if they're going to Loop or other places, but I know that now card shops now are being called that they got more allotment for them now. The breakers can't. I've seen before I went to the National, I was getting emails for breakers with everybody's having like discounted sales, trying to 2-for-1 teams and trying to, because I mean, I've talked, Bobbles has talked about it. It's just not, how many times do you jump into a break and it's just all you get is the hits and you get, some, get third guy off the bench is the auto. So
I've probably done 5, and maybe like 4 of them were all with platinum, and I like platinum.
Mm-hmm.
They're North Carolina based. So I really like that. They're here in North Carolina.
Does all cards ship?
And they ship your cards to you and stuff. And I mean, they're legit. I like them. They do some good stuff, but the problem I have with breaks is some of this product is so expensive that you buy into it and you could blow $100 and not get nothing. I mean, it's just,
and that I'd
rather spend that $100 on some cards that I know I can get.
I'd rather take that and just go buy the single. You put money into that, and I mean, and it if you do hit, it's a good flipping tool. But my God, the chances are so bad. Murray, when you say big time breakers, are you talking about Leighton and Mojo breaks or that big, or are you talking about I don't know who. Yeah, I stopped because I get into where I could pick the Mets. I could pick, and the Mets haven't had a substantial rookie since 2019, and their breaks were stupid priced, and it was because of Pete Alonso. But like you said, his card, the Leighton's and such, I think they're still doing good. Leighton doesn't look like he had more people at his table. He had a small army at the show. They have a whole staff. They're the number one from what I understand out there. I think they're bigger than Jaspy and Mojo. I think they're the big dogs. But some of the ones now, the lower tier, or whatever you want to call it, are the fly by night, and a lot of not because of them, but some of the eBay breakers have made a bad name for the whole thing itself, as well as keeping the cards and just doing underhanded things and cutting the top of stuff. And
I love watching extreme breakers. I won't him and CVC do a lot of collaborating lately. And I love Extreme how he puts that information out there to educate people. You know, he had one on there today where it was a breaker, one camera. You know, he educated me on how to look for what they don't have. You know, if they don't have a camera above them, a camera in front of them, to be able to see it, the product is always on in view. It never disappears. It's none of this, hey, let me go to the front door.
Yeah.
You can see the reflection in the off the screen.
You know exactly. We're thinking the same thing.
You know.
And that just puts a bad, because then if you were somebody that's just doing it casually and you hear about that, then you automatically they're all doing it, you know. There was a guy that was doing helmets a few years ago, and he got busted. He was sticking his hand, pulling out names, and he was loading it up. He had his buddy, you know, signing off, and he knew he had a packing list that knew what box had what helmet in it, and they got busted. But you know, and that's just how, you know, that's. And let me tell you a quick story. So I'm buying my Gretzky, right? Me and the guys are negotiating. While we're negotiating, the guy's partner, the guy's kid is selling the Pokemon stuff. And that was going on a lot. 12-year-old boys, little men knew more about Pokemon than it was amazing.
I heard they were hustling people.
They knew their stuff. You were not going to get over them. You were not. And they talked like men. They knew the vocabulary and all that stuff. But anyway, there was a box of Pokemon for $12,757. And he had 2 of them, and that was the price each. And there was a breaker there that was going to buy them. And I went back. He didn't buy them. But he was figuring out it would have been like $400 a pack. And the other guy goes, "Oh, that's nothing. That's, you know, $500 you can get for that a pack." And I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" And he asked the dealer, "You know, if I buy both, can you give me a deal?" And the dealer said, "Nope, that's the price."
That's it. So,
yeah. And that was pretty amazing to see. And quick story by Stoff. You know, I know he told you me and him talk for a bit. One of the best dudes in the hobby. We're poor guy. Friday he had to leave, so he didn't have a lot of time. So he's running around. We were talking on the floor in the back there, and I was like, "So what are you looking for? Maybe I can point you." And he's looking. He goes, "Nick Madrigal's fastly becoming my favorite player. He just hits the off fields. And, you know, I really want a rookie black is what he's looking for." And I was like, "Oh, that would be nice. White Sox colors." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "He's fast becoming my favorite player." And I go, "Well, you know, that means he'll probably get traded next year because he's hurt right now." We were laughing. "Oh, yeah, he's their future," by one of the guys. And then I'm sitting there at lunch, and I see he got traded to the Cubs. And my head just dropped. And he messaged me later about it. And I felt so bad. That was the story I told you I had for about that. That's how the weekend went for these. You're sitting there waiting. I was waiting for the Mets to get rid of some of the guys on the MLB level, and they just got rid of last year's first-round draft pick. He won't be in the majors for another 4 years at the best, so if he makes it. So,
yeah, Mark. I call Mark my White Sox fan buddy.
Yeah,
he is a lifelong White Sox, and I said, you know, I told him, I said, "Hey, I'm childhood friends, grew up, played baseball with Ray Durham," and he was like, "What, Ray?" And I went, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, he's a cool guy," and so we hooked up on that, and then but he's, you know, he's you know, and that's something about the hobby. You know, you shared earlier, you've gone up there and you've met a lot of these people that you've been in contact with. And it's like, I really, this is really weird. For me, is that I feel, and I've done it. I've called you.
Mm-hmm.
I've texted you, JD, Bobbles, cards, Chili, the now golf guy. Congratulations, Chili. Chili, congratulations on your marriage too, and the baby coming. Congratulations.
He's a little schizophrenic. He changes his name like every week, don't he?
Yeah, he's taking a break from the hobby. He's got a bunch of life stuff going. He's got a beautiful wife and a baby on the way.
Awesome.
So and all these guys and Stoff and Andy and Eric, I've Filmington, JT,
yeah, JT's awesome.
All these guys, I've reached out and asked opinions. Bart, the PSA guy, I'm not name dropping, but I want people to know they see these folks on YouTube, and you get like you think you're,
oh, there he is.
There he is. Hey, just talking about you.
Yeah.
Man, missed being there. And for y'all that don't know, I was planning on, there was some generosity from a brother here, invited me to go. And I was looking at booking, I was at the process of booking my flight. And I'd had some health issues. And so I've got a series of heart checks. And so I was not able to do that. But first, I'm doing good. So the first test went really good. I got 2 more. And so we're 1 down and 3 to go. But my wife knows she's coming to Atlantic City with me. She's going to be gambling. She's going to be on the slot machines. And I'll be at the card tables with y'all. So, and she loves baseball. So she likes cards too. So she may walk around too. But it'll be a win-win. But what I was getting to say is like, I've reached out to all these people, y'all, and the community is so tight. All you got to do is ask for help. Hey, I need this question. It's like, and
it's free.
It's free. You're not paying memberships. That's exactly. You're not paying. What's the deal like on YouTube to get extra content, to get knowledge? All you got to do is pick up a phone or get on social media, get on Instagram, follow them, get on Facebook, get in these groups that you're in the community, and reach out to these people, and they will help you.
Yeah,
it's free, and they really care to do it. So, but speaking of my wife, she's getting ready for bed, I think. No, it's still early. She's still got a little bit. But yeah, she doesn't want to be on camera. So
hi, Nats Woman 72.
She says she's in her jammies, but she says hello. This Big Scott. And but yeah, I mean, it's just, folks, y'all just need to realize, and Andy, Scott has not told me, was it good, bad, or indifferent about the conversation. And I'm going to get the 411 on that after we're done here.
It was a missing, like me, him, Eric, those back pages. We were all JT. Yeah, it was, you were topic both nights of the get-togethers. Like, where's the Nats man at? So,
man, I wanted to be there so bad, man.
You were there, and I kept texting you when I found stuff and let you know what was going on. I was trying to involve you as much as I possibly could, because I want everybody to go at least once. And you know what? You go once, you're going to go back again. I guarantee you. That poor guy that did the video, and I understand his reasonings. I guess I understand it to a certain extent, but I think I feel bad because he's missing the point of the hobby. And I understand if you can't make it for financial reasons or
it's expensive.
Right. And I am here to tell you, you don't have to go to buy car. There were dollar boxes galore there. If you just love the hobby, if you love the history, just walking around, Pepino Man said it great. It's like a museum just to look at all the cards and just to hang out at the hangouts, and this is my one bit of advice, especially for Chicago. If it's a money thing, don't stay near the place. Find a hotel just 10 minutes away. They all run shuttles to the place. There's plenty of Ubers that are $8, $10 a ride if you want to go to an after show or party or whatever. That's my one little tidbit, because I did that one year and I saved a ton of money on that. And you're not in the trap of the restaurants. You got you can go anywhere and eat at that point. Just
You got gas stations closer to you as well, right?
right. The big thing is like, oh, buy your snacks outside. Well, let me tell you where I was staying at. I could either buy them at the hotel for $4 a bottle of water or buy it inside the place for $5 a water. It's not much difference at that point. So,
Have you been to Atlantic City's convention, or has
I
it always
have
been?
I have not. Atlantic City is kind of their basic. I'm not I'm not a fan of Atlantic City. I've gone there with friends. Being an East Coast guy, that tends to be one of the spots for bachelor parties and just the been drinking all day and say, hey, make somebody goes, let's go to Atlantic City, stupidity things. We'll get in the car and drive. Uh, I'm not a gambler. I gamble on packs, and I've done some sports betting in my life, but table games, I'm better just getting $200 out of ATM and just hand it to the first base person I see and walk out. And I get more satisfaction out of that than I playing blackjack and giving somebody my money slowly. It's just it's a death of 1,000 stabs, whatever. Cuts.
And I'm the same way, but my wife, she can play the slots and win.
God bless her.
Unless I'm there. Oh, she says, don't hate. What'd you say? She said, don't hate the player, hate the game.
I do hate the game. I got friends that when we go, he goes to the crap table before we go get a hotel room because we're going to figure out from his craps table if we're staying in the Motel 6 or are we staying in the casino hotel because he's very good at it. Much worse.
Yeah. Did you get to see the guy in the Corvette out front selling?
I did. I walked over. Eric came in and told me about it, and this show, Andy could tell you, was just crazy on so many different levels. Just from going to hotel lobbies, people sitting on the floor, impromptu nights, just on every level. It was just craziness and awesomeness all at the same time. And I meant to tell you, Andy, you and your buddy need to start doing y'all's collabs again. I think his name's Mike. I love it when you can tell the friendship is there. They do a great job, and we need you back on a regular basis, Andy.
I'll give a thumbs up on this video for Andy to put
that's right.
Collabs back out, man, because they are good. I learned a bunch of stuff from it.
Yeah, and I love those Haas of cards. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yes,
but he does it once a month Sunday. Those 4 guys, I talked to them at the show, 2 of them. One guy's from Virginia. It was the first time all 4 of them went, and I wish I was there when they walked in because I wanted to see their faces because it's still overwhelming when I first walk in.
Haas follows me, and I follow him on Instagram, and he does a lot of the likes on my posts and stuff. He's a regular and super nice. I mean, we DM each other before.
Me and him talked to each other. We walked over to the show one morning, ran into each other on the street. I wish I had more time, but I was meeting somebody else that morning. He's a great guy, and we, chit chat as much as we can in the comments section. But now we're getting on the IG and Twitter field, and me and him hopefully will do a collab in the future.
I want to do a collab. I don't care whose channel it is on, but I want in on it. I want Ron Fig, you, Andy, and Eric. And
you could probably get that to happen. Huh?
Somebody do that, and I want to be in on that.
Ron Fig is probably the biggest contributor in the comment section of any person. Him
that doesn't make content.
Yeah, well, he does, but it's not like on a regular basis. But man, I talked to him about that. I was like, I think he ought to get a Hall of Fame YouTube button just for commenting on everything. He is
Ron Fig matters.
Huh?
Ron Fig matters.
That's right. And man, and he knows his stuff too. We talked and he was showing me some stuff, and you know, and we not just talked about it. I got to know him on a you know, a little bit of a personal level, and you know, and that was great. And you know, and getting to see Pepito Man and that thing he was carrying is
Well, I saw that with Mike. Mike's video was the first one I saw that on.
the
And then I
Pelican
think,
case. Yeah.
yes, with the door. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's making the rounds through like Bobble's group. It's
Right.
on fire in Bobble's group
Uh,
the last day or two.
It was
Um,
that was one of the he probably won the show with that. And you know, Pepino Man is Pepino Man, but you know, getting to talk to him and getting to know him, that was nice too.
I know
Then
he
another
works for
thing
the
was
Dodgers.
what's
Go
that?
ahead. He
Well,
works for the Dodgers, right?
he is a contractor
Right.
that works for a company with the Dodgers. And
For like
because of that, he didn't get a
utilities.
ring for the Dodgers winning the World Series. He was like the people, the concession stand workers, they all got rings. We didn't. And big smooth, gosh, great guy. I met him there too. Bought him a ring and gave it to him at the show. So that was awesome.
That's why I was going to ask how did he get that ring? Because it was like I watched the video with Fillington. He's like he's been waiting on this ring and he finally got it. And I'm like, what? He
Right.
should already
So
had a
like he's got videos on Smooth, you know, getting it from, but he did not get one from the Dodgers, and that's a shame. You know, he does the fields and stuff, but you know, it is what it is. So, but you know, just getting to know these guys a little bit better and getting a better understanding and making me feel better about the content that I'm putting out. You know, my confidence level just went up a little bit, and
a whole lot, brother. I mean, I'm telling you, man. Like, I thank you for promoting it tonight.
uh-huh.
I'm gonna be honest. I've gotten like 5 more subs. I think I'm at 179, and so and I know what it is. It's you went out there and you did
Great.
some.
Well,
I'm,
that's
I'm on social media for my job,
right.
so I actually follow a lot of y'all
Uh,
on my clandestine account.
mhm.
So you know, and I'm seeing this stuff pop up, and you're like, hey, I want to. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is freaking awesome.
I'm pushing you, dude. I feel like because you're on everybody's channel too. You're another raw fig. You're right there in all the comments, and you're a plus for this community,
Thank you.
uh, and you're uplifting. You never have anything negative for anybody on a personal. You'll ask questions, in which we all should. You know, and I thank you for that. And you
Thank you.
know, and you've got me into another section of because of you. And I got with you. I've told you before, SGC Mafia. You know, with the Bobbles group and Bobbles. I wish I could plan out for next year's show because what he's planning is a good thing. I wish I knew if I could do that exact. I can't. I don't know until I put my vacation down what exactly I'm doing next year. But what
And me
he's
too.
doing is a great thing, and if he's got a spot, I might do it. I was showing people like other content creators, you know, and that was a great idea. And
I'm going to share if you just to say I'll tell folks what you're talking about.
oh, go ahead.
Bobbles and Ball Card, the misses, we call her Miss Bobbles. They
Yeah.
have already rented I believe it's a beachfront home
Mhm.
on what's the one of those sites that you can rent the houses and stuff on for vacation homes,
Right.
Airbnb, and they're offering spots to their members of their group, which is on Facebook. Anybody can join it. You're just going to answer some simple questions. You know, none of this hate, slamming people and stuff. It's open forum, very transparent group, and they're offering spots currently, and it's everybody staying in the house. There's people already committing and dropping deposits. So I
And they
would
got a
suggest
van. They're
Yeah.
renting a van to take everybody, and
Right.
they planned it all out, and that's awesome. I'm sorry, reading what. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I
I did the same thing.
there's a story there, Andy, why it's spelled that way, but that's for another time. And Amari's got a great question above that if you want to post that one. I want to say, hopefully I'm saying your name right, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith.
He's in the Bobbles group. Great guy.
Okay. Let me tell you, yes, there is holes in this hobby, and that hole is Amari's not in it, right? Amari does not collect the same way I collect, doesn't collect the same way Natsman collects, doesn't collect anybody the way that anybody's in this chat. So if you want to set your camera up this evening, and all it takes is a record and an upload to YouTube, 2 buttons. I know I'm parakeeting those back pages, right? With this, we need more content creators, everybody. If you want to upload it, and Amari, if you do, you let me know. I'll be your first sub. I'll tell you that right now. And you can't do it wrong. There's not a wrong way. And there's always holes in this hobby. Everybody, if you want to do it, put yourself out there. There's something to be said for that. It's tough to start, right, Nats, man? The first time you hit that record and you hit that upload button, you're like, well, it's no turning back now.
The biggest best advice I ever got was from Snoop, and he called me yesterday, and we talked for 2 hours on the phone as he's driving to make a delivery in Baltimore. He's like, I gotta get off the phone. I'm in Baltimore. But Snoop is awesome, and he watched one of my videos when I first started, and it was the first video I did with a phone. Mm-hmm. And he said, don't record this way. Record it facing this.
Right.
Don't do it that way. And it has to do with the way it shows up on the screen.
The mirroring. Yeah. The mirror with it. Yeah. He's
yeah.
right. And I met Snoop in 2019 very briefly. We talked about collecting in Virginia and maybe Central Virginia, where I'm at. It's not a lot there for the collectors. It's growing up, I didn't have a lot what other people do. And I hope Snoop comes back into the community. It was fun.
He is.
That we miss him. I can tell you that. That's a great voice. And
if he does what he says he's going to possibly do with his buddy Nate, it would be huge for the community. He said Mike had approached him about this maybe last year, and doing certain content about baseball, and it'd be a series of videos, and it would be huge.
Right. And
huge. And I'm not going to disclose it because that's his thing.
He's one of those guys with the research and the way he comes across and the news aspect of it. We miss that. And that's what when I talk to Mike, this baseball card life, that's what I love. He could take one card and get the most knowledge out of one card, and you learn so much. And I really love that content like that.
How was I'm still starstruck. So how is JT Triple Crown 24 has impressed me. He was one of the first guys I started watching. I was very impressed with the way he does content, the way he does his videos, the way he handles his business for a young man, and then venturing into what he's venturing into. I'm thinking, to me, in my opinion, he's only a few steps behind. What's his name? There in Ohio.
Card Collector 2.
Card Collector 2. He is
They're
a
not
few
too
steps
far from each
behind
other.
him. Yeah, I think. But how is JT? In real life, is he good as he seems to be?
Oh, he's more than when I went up to him, the same way with Mike O. It's the first time I ever really, me and Mike O talked for 5 seconds in 2019. He doesn't even remember it, but I know Mike now. I don't know Mike. I know Mike O, but I know Mike, right? So and Ed and the rest of those. So JT, Andy will tell you. I walked up to him and I didn't even introduce myself. Now that I think about it, we just started talking, right? Because it's like because of the Facebook group we're in, and all the stuff we talk so much in Messenger, and he is a resource I use. I'm not going to lie, that guy he knows his stuff, especially if you're selling or you're going to go buy something. Why not use JT, right? He is there for you. He loves it, and I went up to him and I thanked him for what he's done for you, because I told you the situation he was in at the time, and he still, helped you out. So I think he is I think him and that Facebook group, as much as I love everybody in this community, I think that Facebook group, everybody should go and find it. It's Mike Owen Triple Crown 24 Facebook group is such a tight knit community. And they're such a plus, and JT is there for anybody. And I don't want to. We talked a little bit about some stuff, and I really thanked him for what he contributes to this community. And he is just he is a future superstar in a hobby. He is, Andy, and I think if he's not already, he just needs to pump up his other social groups, and he will be as big as Ryan Johnson. And if he ever does a brick and mortar, he's so meticulous. It's going to be like that. Like,
I love that.
Right. And when he went, JT went and visited Ryan, right? Like,
yeah,
right. So yeah, I hope you saw that video. And so, and Ryan, I wanted to go over and talk to him, but he was so mobbed at his table, him and his wife and their group. I almost felt bad in a way, and I hope he did really. I think he did really well, or really, really well at the show. I know he did, but man, I don't know if he gets to enjoy it as much as everybody else does. But
somebody made a comment. I can't remember who made the comment. It may have been Mike, the baseball collector. It may have been him. And if it's not, I apologize. I've watched so much content trying to, make it be like you're there without being there. Is that he is looking to build an empire.
Oh,
he is. Yeah, he's wanting worldwide prestige. And he can do it. He's got the personality and the skills to do it.
I wore that shirt the first day I was there. How did you know that?
I did not know that. But I do need to get with you about that Star Wars shirt you wore for one of your two-parters with Vader on it.
That was a comic book T-shirt. Yeah. Well, JT, if he wants to go that route, he can. And I'll let him talk more about it. If you watch his videos, you probably know some of it. But he is, he gets that self-confidence that he needs. He'll have a big part, and he loves the business side of it. I mean, we talked about it. Now he's taking on the SGC stuff, and I mean, he just eats it up. He loves to hold the cards. He just loves it. Loves the spreadsheets and all of that.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes. It's so pure and honest.
Andy, I don't know if you saw his last thing on Twitter, but he announced some of his stuff on there, and yeah, he is. We need to watch out because he's taking it over. He's awesome.
I got a bunch of stuff.
I just sent a box to him today. So if everybody's figuring out the 2 + 2 = 4 that we talked about earlier, plus some Miggies if he was interested, if he needed them. If not, he put them in the store. So
I do want to put a shout out for a Facebook group. It's a SGC group, but to be totally transparent, I'm a admin on it. JJ Williams is on it as a moderator, but JD Williams started it, and we've invited Mike O. He's in it. Bobbles is in it. We're not looking to replace anything.
I'm in it.
But yeah, you're in it. Thank you. A lot of guys are in it. If we could spread the word, it's called SGC Graded Card Marketplace. And if you are, there's not many of them out there, but if you're a SGC bolt submitter and you're transparent, join. We're not, what this started as is that there's certain groups that are being paid to delete comments when people in the group are asking about bulk submitters. And if it's not a certain one, they're being deleted. Comments, suggestions are being deleted. So we're not playing that game. As long as you're fair to the people and being transparent, you want to share your pictures. You want a place that you're not going to get punked out where you're selling that for too much or not enough or anything like that. We don't play that game. It's just open. Hey, you got a question about a card on an SGC card. This is where we want you to come. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I got a quick question for you too, and I meant to ask Bobbles. Me and Bobbles had a great conversation. I can't remember what night I was at the show, but me and him had a great conversation via the messenger. But now, is it my understanding that SGC gave these bolt submitters that they had to charge them $25 a card, right? That was the flat fee. If they did it something else, they're going to lose their spot, right? Because my understanding, the group we're talking about, they're charging $30 a card or $35 with the wipe down and all this other dumb stuff. And then they're putting shipping on top of that.
Plus charging them the sleeve slabs.
Yeah. I don't. How are they getting away with that? Like,
I don't. Colorado, it is the name of it is, let me pull I'm flipping over to my Facebook screen. SGC Graded Card Marketplace.
Marketplace. Paste it in the banner.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Well,
come on, newbie.
I'm not techno.
Oh, you got it better than I do. Did you see the video where I was trying to do screen sharing with the cards? Good. That was.
You see what happened to me tonight?
That's not your fault. That's North Carolina. The hamster died. I had to go get another one to get the power going.
I was like, oh my God, that's like I was like texting. I'm like, oh my God, this is going down. Is it even? And I was like, oh, okay, he's still talking. Because I saw where you saw. I sent that.
I heard. I saw my messenger was dinging. I was like, oh, let's see what's going on. Yes.
Man, is there anything in particular you're wanting to pick up? Any pickups you're looking for the latter part of the year?
No, I'm just interested in some of the sets that are still to come out. I'm interested what update's going to be this year compared to what it was last year. Was just they would have been better off canceling last year, in my view, than what they put out. And I understand they have a contract, so they had to put it out. But I'm interested to see how they do that and what the pricing is going to be. Because to me, I feel Series 2 for the rookies is better than Series 1, and Series 2 is a lot cheaper. I don't understand what's going on with that. And usually Series 2 is less made than Series 1 by far, usually in years past. And I don't know if that's the same this year. So I'm kind of interested how updates going to come out. And, what am I looking for? Because I am if anybody has any leads on Pete Alonso 2019 variants. I'm looking for now like the low number Vaughn, Kellenick. Yeah, Badu. I don't know if Kellenick's is gonna. I you just don't know what Tops is gonna top. So we'll wait to see what's gonna happen with that. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm not gonna spend a lot crazy money for it. While I was at the show, I missed a Sapphire that went for less than $80. 2019 Sapphire. The 1 year that I don't like the Sapphire edition, it looks like the atomics in the white instead of the blue. So I kicking myself for that. But I am a degenerate. I was shopping on eBay while I was at the show. So it's kind of like gambling while you're at the casino on your phone. So I was like, I think I got a problem, but everybody else like, oh, I'll do the same thing. And I don't know if that I don't have the problem or we all have the same problem. So I don't know. I really to look for something, I'm always looking for those 90s top for Frank Thomas Griffey. I'm trying to get some of the Gary Carter's. I'm starting to get to a lot of the food and beverage cards and finding those already graded, things like that. I'm always hunting, and who knows what tomorrow brings. I'll take a left turn somewhere, I guess. So how about you? What are you looking for? Are you still road or?
Yeah. And I've been picking up atomics.
I saw that. They're beautiful cards.
And I got this one in. And I got the same version for Lou Bob, and it PSA 10 for me. And this would be one that this one looks a lot, but I think this one would look really good in an SGC slab because of his uni. It's the white, with the white uni and the black accents, because the Lou Bob one was in the other uni.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be too dark. But, in that comment, I think you're in agreement too, is that there's certain cards that they don't look good in the PSA. They don't look good in the BHN. They don't look good in the SGC. It's one of the, certain cards look better in certain slabs, and I'm all about buying the card.
Right.
But at the same token of when you buy a painting, you're also looking at the frame.
Right.
The frame should be able to accent the painting, the picture. And that's the way I look at it.
I am with you 100. You got to be happy with the card. At the end of the day, when you look at it, you're like, man, why did I buy this? So there is something to be said for it. But I am starting to really dig CSG. Even with the flip, those are so clear, crystal clear. It just looks like the card is hovering in midair, right? It's just like.
You're not the only person I've had that conversation with in the last 2 weeks. There's momentum.
Right. And they were there. Those cards were out there. I picked up a Ken Griffey second year card, and they're just don't look at the flip. Yeah, okay, you have to look at the flip. And the flip looks better with the subgrades, but I'm not paying $10 extra a card for the subgrade. If I would do that, I'm just going to send it to somewhere else. And I trust CSG. Right? I trust them. Nice pickup.
Yeah.
But I don't trust HGA from a PC, but one day somebody's got to sell them. And when I leave from here, hopefully 50 years from now, somebody's going to look back and go, who's HGA? Is they even, I feel like CSG has such a oh, okay. So I feel like CSG has a pedigree, right, with the other stuff they do. Plus, they hired guys from Beckett to run that part of it. So I feel very confident in their stuff. I think they're in for the long haul. They're not going anywhere.
I haven't laid hands on one of their slabs yet.
You need to. Seeing them on video does not do them justice. To in hand, you will see how well they're made. They're the same size as PSA. They fit actually. I have CSG perfect fits now, but they fit in a PSA perfect fit perfectly. Okay. They look like they should be taller because the flip is so flipping big. Yeah. But if they did something with the flip and made the green, I think, darker, I think they would have something that really, really, because they have I think the way the flips are made, it's almost impossible. And I'm going to say this because I don't try to, make fakes or copies. But they got so much security in that flip that I feel like, I feel very comfortable with it. And for that reason as well. And I just think they're here to stay. And
does the card, how much play is in the card within the slab?
They don't move. You don't have any the rattlers. I haven't yet, at least. I have 100 cards there with them. I'm waiting for 50. There should be any week now. And then I got 50 that just got loaded into their system before I went to the show.
Their turnaround? I know they say their turnaround is one thing, but getting log stuff in, is it still like 4 or 5 months?
It took me April to right before I went to the show to get this last one logged in.
To get logged
into the system. Once they get logged in, it moves kind of good pace. But they do have a tracking system where if you take your tracking number, log it in, it'll tell you the day they signed for it. So they do have that. That's a little bit better in PSA, where you're like, well, do they have my cards? It says on my tracking it's in California. But you can go in their system and go, oh, they got it on this date. And then you go to their fulfillment part of it, and it'll tell a date of the week, the Monday of the week they're working on. So it's a little bit better than some. I feel like that was something that's missing in all the other companies. SGC doesn't really need to worry about that right now, but PSA, I think they need to really look into that. And I wish all of them had an ETA. Okay, it's in step 5. What's the ETA to get to step 6 right now? Is it, be transparent, if it's 6 weeks, 10 months? What is it?
Tell us.
Right. Let me know something. If I order food at a restaurant, they're going to tell me it's 15 minutes out, right? Or they'll come back and go, oh, they messed up. It's going to be another 30 minutes. Let me know what's going on.
I don't have a problem with it getting messed up and it being delayed. Just be honest with me.
Right. And that's all I'm asking, especially PSA. You give somebody that amount of money to do cards, and the best you can get, it's in stage 4. I don't even know what the hell stage 4 is.
Retro Hoops guy I've been following, he's been doing breakdowns of PSA turnaround times for the last several months. But he did a live session last night, and he had one of his followers was on there. Turns out is the guy that has sued PSA for the taking so long on orders.
Well, when your descriptions, they should never describe them all 3-week service or something like that. They should just say economy and just tell you where they're at the moment. I just and with PSA cards coming out hundreds of thousands every week, that's just going to drop prices even more coming up. So what somebody posted this week in Bobbles about the Zion being a number 1 10, how many 10s? I mean, my gosh, these cards, the reality
kill the basketball market. I really don't think baseball is going to take that big of a hit because it's a long-term play. It'll get spread out. Mm-hmm. I think basketball and football is going to take a hit because it's here and now.
Right.
because they're not developed. There's no true development leagues.
Well, football, the only thing that sells in football is quarterbacks.
And I don't understand that.
And I'm not going to see a change in that. And it's only a few quarterbacks. It does, and not all quarterbacks. It's just, that's just the way it is for 8 months. Yeah.
Preach it, Andy.
Yeah, Andy, I think my last order with JT was almost right at a year that we got it back. And I don't know how many with JT right now. And
I've got a card, and it's a 5x7 card. It's a BASF back in the 80s. They had stores in California where they sold audio tapes and VHS tapes and stuff. And they would every couple of weeks put a card out, and it was a 14 card set for the LA Lakers. And I've got that whole set with a Magic Johnson card at a PSA 8 is going for like $4 or $5 grand.
Mm.
And I called PSA and I'm like, all right, I got a 5x7. What's my time frame on getting this back? If I'm paying $200 and something, what's my time frame on getting this back? It's not a normal card. It's a 5x7. It's a jumbo. 2 months.
Oh, really?
And I said, look, are you being truthful with me, or is it 2 months times 2? And that's what, they're like, no, it's 2 month turnaround on an order like that.
So was that
I haven't done it yet.
Is that $250? $250?
$200.
200? Okay.
Plus 30 for a jumbo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It just but you're going to flip it. That's going to be worth it. So yeah. If you come back, if you roll the dice and win, I guess.
Let's see. Has anyone used the PSA phone app to look up card pops and previous sales by scanning the slab? I just learned of yes, I use it. I have it on my phone.
Nice. Is it the PSA?
I type it in a lot. So what?
Is it a PSA actual
app?
Okay. I have a PSA app, but I might have that feature. I don't know. Nice. Yes. Give us all your info.
So that's the screen. You can see it. It doesn't show your stuff.
Right. I know.
But you can type it in on verify. And that's what I'll do. If I'm on eBay,
that's good.
I'm typing stuff in to see what the pop is, and it does link the sales, and it'll link you in the menu to the PSA regular website. So yeah, nice. It's really great.
I've been using that 130 point quite a bit here lately. That Bobbles uses a lot, and it's just kind of hard to navigate a little bit, and you got to be on a computer for it, but it's kind of hard on the phone.
I've got something to pitch you when we get off of here.
Okay.
Maybe help you out.
All right.
But does anybody got any questions? We've been going. Oh my God, we've been going. It's 10:40 East Coast time. I've loved it.
I'll go ahead and answer this one. Yes, I am this pretty in person. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you again, Scott, for bringing your beautiful self here. And I'm glad you had a great time. Thank you for the content and the transparency that you always give in your videos. Want to tell everybody, thank y'all for jumping on here. If you're not a subscriber, I ask you to hit the sub button for me, hit the like, dislike. I don't care. Just hit something. Go check out. If you don't subscribe to Big Scott, at least go check his content out. And then I bet you $5 you will subscribe. So check out his stuff. Also, there's information out there that's free. You don't have to pay memberships. And I'll pitch it again, the SGC graded card marketplace. It's in the chat. Feel free to join that on Facebook. There's Bobbles, there's Myco and Triple Crown. I'm members of them as well. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a retired cop, and I don't trust a lot of people. And I trust JT, Myco, and Bobbles with my personal belongings. But I've had a great time. And Scott, I want you to do the lead out that you do for your show.
Okay, and I got one plug real quick. I'm going to do an
Yeah.
interview tomorrow with my local LCS owner, and that'll be my next Let's Talk. At least that's what's on supposed to be at this time. Great fella for this area of the country. I think it's going to be interesting to watch. And until then, see ya.